Hey guys, your binos, they kind of stink. I bet you want some new ones. Vortex binos, guys. You want a set of Vortex binos, we're giving them away. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're commenting on the videos. Make sure you're engaging with our videos. We're giving away binos every single month of the season, guys. So if you want free binos, you want some free optics, maybe we switch it up, we do something a little bit different, guys. At the end of the day, if you guys want some free stuff from Vortex, like, comment, subscribe. Alrighty guys, how to beat the October lull. Woo! This year, the lull is gonna be and is, in the process of gonna be one of the worst that we've seen in a long, long time. There's a handful of reasons for that, guys. And I think it's important to have some sort of strategy going into this quote unquote lull instead of just sitting on the couch. Now, I know a lot of you will wait for that time period in which things start to heat up, the late Octobers into Novembers, but at the same time, you need to look at it from the perspective of, hey, my neighbors might be out there killing that deer, or might be out there trying to kill that deer later in October, early November when I am. If I can get them killed prior to then, I probably should. And so a lot of guys, they talk about this October lull. And in fact, the science shows that October really doesn't necessarily, the month itself doesn't have a lull. The movement slowly rises as the month goes on. But there are factors, that within the month of October that can absolutely slow that month down at certain times and make it seem as if there is a lull. The one thing that we're really dealing with, and we've dealt with in September, is these warm fronts, guys. This has been one of the worst Septembers that I can remember ever. And so when you have that weather, it forces you to stay on the couch because you don't see those deer on your trail cameras, and it is what it is. And now, with some of the videos that we've dropped, we've come to find out that we're only catching about 3% of the movement, and that's been across years of research on our trail cameras, even running as many as one every 5 acres. So. We're sitting on the couch, we're looking at trail cameras and it's not hot, as far as movement goes. And so, we're sitting on the couch, we're not getting out there hunting. The other second issue that I'm going to see, and it's going to be worse this year than most years, is that acorn production, guys. It's absolutely insane. I mean, it's freaking wild how many acorns we're going to have this year in the Northwoods, especially. I was doing some in-season scouting in northern Wisconsin, and with light and moderate winds, like, I'm not lying to you, I bet you I heard 30 acorns come down out of one tree at one time. And so therefore, like, I don't care if you got a big corn pile down in Kentucky, it just suppresses the movement. And so I believe that it's really important to have some sort of strategy to go in and hunt during these time frames, especially if you do get those cold fronts. Now, here's the thing. You don't need a cold front to kill a big buck, and I don't want you to think that you do. Does it make it easier? Absolutely, guys. But I'll tell you straight up, I probably killed 75 to 80% of my bucks on a warm front. Why is that? Because the bucks are always in the woods. Just because it's warm doesn't mean that they disappear, right? They don't just vanish. They're always there. Movement might be suppressed, but there's only one way to solve that, guys, and it has to do with in-season scouting, okay? If you're not in-season scouting to go find these bucks in the early October time frame, you're probably not gonna kill one. And I know what you're thinking, Brett, you want me to go into my semi-small property or go into this public land and just start running around? To a certain extent, I want you to. One day. Go and blow it up one day. And the reason I say that is because, it's early-ish season still. For a lot of you, your seasons just came in a couple weeks prior to this. And so if you're the first one to bump this buck, it's not the 5th or 6th time he's been bumped, which means he's likely to return. I can think of a hunt in Illinois where I bumped a buck out of a given bed like 3 out of 4 days. And I thought, oh, he'll never come back, he'll never come back, he'll never come back. But being earlier in the season, it was some of the first times he'd likely been bumped. So I want you to get out there and do a lot of preseason, or I shouldn't say preseason, but in-season scouting. Because then at least we can see what's going on right now. A lot of your off-season scouting is helpful, but you don't know when that sign was laid down. And if we go in there right now, after Velvet just came off a handful of weeks ago, guys, you're gonna be able to see where the freshest sign is, what the deer are doing, and go from there. So one of the main tips that I've given 100 times over, and I'm gonna keep beating it into the ground, is basically starting at those areas of congregation, your clear cuts, your cornfields, your food plots, and then taking the sign back. And now, before ever even getting out in the field, I want you to look at your topographical maps. I want you to look at your maps and make a prediction, 2 or 3 predictions as to where you think the bedroom could be based off of maybe the canopy on those aerials. How big is the canopy on those trees? Is it super tight cover? Is it old clear cut? Topographically speaking, is it a leeward ridge? Is it a leeward draw? Is it a good high point where a buck can have a vantage point? think about those before going out to these areas of congregation. Walk the perimeters of them, find the sign, follow it back. Look for the double-sided rubs. When you find the double-sided rubs, we're generally within about 150 yards of somebody's bedroom. And then the best part is, guys, is that we're in the time period in which you can go back and not only find the sign, but maybe find the buck. Okay, and that's the most important thing that I want to talk about in this video, guys, is there's a good chance that you're gonna go and you're gonna get eyes on that buck. Ideally, you go in and you do this during a wet and windy day in which you were never gonna hunt anyway, or you decided you weren't gonna hunt because you wanted to gather some information. I want you to get eyes on your buck and physically jump that deer so that you know what's making the sign and go from there. Now, like I said, if it's a wet and windy day and we get that buck up out of his bed, I want you to, the second you see him and you confirm it's the deer that you want it to be, you hit the dirt almost. Like you hide from this deer, you back out, you get out of there. And in fact, another quick tip that I would give for you guys is have some sort of light and mobile set up on your back so that you can hang and think about the predominant winds. What are the winds gonna be doing the next couple days? And do we have to be on this side of the trail or that side of the trail when he heads out to this area of congregation, these destination areas? Put all these puzzle pieces together. At the end of the day, guys, I want you to start that area of congregation, follow the sign back, look for double-sided rubs, either find condensed sign of 15 rubs or so, 10 rubs, even 8 rubs in a given area, or find the buck. And when you do, back up, try and find that first, second, third scrape outside the bed that's not within visible sight of his bedroom, and set up off wind. I think if you guys do that in October and go in and bust it up a little bit, I think you're gonna have a lot of success. And here's another reason I don't mind you busting it up in early October, guys. It's because the rut is coming and those bucks are gonna leave anyway, okay? They might come back and they might stick around to a certain extent, but they're gonna start moving and they're gonna become less patternable. Go in and strike while the iron is still hot, while we're in this mid-October time frame. And I think there's a damn good chance that you can kill a buck, guys, in the October lull.
Nice.